We are back for another conversation from a different point of view.
And this is Alice.
And Agnes.
And today we are discussing fashion trends versus your personal style.
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess we can start with, what do you think is the difference between fashion trends and personal style?
Do we start?
Yes, please.
Okay then. So when I think of fashion trends, I think of what fashion industry has perfectly packaged for us and presented, and it presents it with every season, and it says, here you go, this is your choices. Every single pair of jeans is high-waisted or low-waisted or baggy. Like, this is the trend for the season. Skinny jeans, yes. Like, you can't buy any other type of jeans. It's just skinny jeans everywhere. We are told, like, this is it. Like, this is gonna be your look for the season. When I feel like style is something that, like, evolves, something that, it's almost like this little part of you that you are showing to the world without having to say anything.
Also, fashion trends is something that just comes and goes. Hence, I feel like so many people have so many pieces in their wardrobe that they don't want to wear after a year because, like you said...
Not even a year. I feel like sometimes like a couple of weeks you're like, oh, there's another micro trend coming.
Yeah. Like, actually, it's not me, but I kind of need it, you know? Yeah. Whereas, yeah, personal style is something that you... like, that's yours and it's there to stay.
What is your relationship with fashion trends from your point of view?
I used to feel like that's what makes you cool. Whereas now, I don't know if it's age or like something's changing. And I'm like, actually, what's cool is when you have a personal style. And I feel like the less trends you follow, the cooler you are.
Totally.
And it doesn't mean that you can't follow trends, but just like you can integrate it somehow that fits within your style.
Like, make it yours, right?
Yeah.
Don't make it like a copy-paste situation from a Grazia magazine or
Exactly.
wherever you've seen it. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But then with like plus size.
You know, we can all agree that for plus size, you have to like kind of shop on high street. Like you don't get a lot of representation elsewhere. Like it's very difficult. But aside from that, I feel like the lack of representation and the lack of like making you feel like you're something, like you're beautiful. For me, I felt like I need to follow trends.
Is it like, almost like fitting in
yes,
a certain like box, right?
Exactly, because like it can be a little bit scary to be plus size or curvy or whatever and to be different. Like it's a lot of eyes on you, a lot of like
you already stand out and you don't want to be standing out even more
exactly,
than you already have
exactly. So I think that's why for me, so many years I was like, okay, reading magazines, going through like, ooh, like the 5 trends right now. And then I'm like on ASOS, like trying to find the pieces that will fit me and I'll be like, cool. But yeah, like I said, like not anymore. I'm just like trying to like step away from that.
Yeah.
But I think it's very personal journey. Therefore, like if I'm on TikTok and someone finds me inspirational, I'm like, yes, like great. Yeah. If you can step into your like personal style and personal journey and I can help with that, I'm so happy with that. Yeah.
Because I feel it also like the developing a personal style really comes with like self-awareness.
Yes.
Of like just stepping back from what you've been kind of told, what you should be wearing, to being like, actually, like, what do I really feel like represents who I am today, you know? And then kind of like being like, maybe I try this, maybe I mix this. And that's why like people like you, like watching someone like you and like, it's nothing to do with trends. You're like, I love color and I'm gonna mix this and this together, you know? Like you don't see that in magazines. Like it's very like 5 pairs of shoes that are happening this season.
Yeah, right now. So my grandma, every time I go home and I talk to my grandma, she's like, so what's in fashion right now?
Oh, bless her.
And I love it because she's like, obviously, you know, she wants something from like the big city, like bring me like something cool, you know. And I get it, but at the same time, I've been like, for the last few years, I'm like, everything's in fashion. Yeah. Like I just so go against what like I would normally say. I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, by the way, like you should be wearing this color now and this, and I'm like, I don't say that no more.
Yeah. It's funny when you like mention your family because like for me it's actually total opposite, because with my mom being a seamstress and she's always been like super creative, and not once have I seen her follow trends.
I love
In
that.
any way. Like, she would be a person that would like remake the skirt 500 times, you know, just to make the most of it. But also from like a very creative perspective. So she would be like, oh, you know what? I'm bored of like wearing a long skirt. So now I'm going to cut it and I'm going to make something else out of the pieces that, you know, like,
Cool.
And for me, I looked at that and I was like, that is cool. Like, that's inspiration to me.
You had head start.
I had head start. And I think it's also like my mom has really kind of taught me how important clothes are, in the sense of like, just like even watching her making clothes, just seeing how much effort it goes to making one garment, which I feel very blessed and privileged to be able to witness that, because I'm aware of the fact that we don't even think like where this pair of jeans came from. It probably came from the other side of the world. We don't know who made it. We don't know the fabric, all of that. Yeah. So for me to see that and observe that and be like, oh, okay, like you have very different respect towards this piece of clothing. So, and I think that ultimately, it doesn't even, you don't even want to go anywhere near trends, because it's like, no, this is just like you using this piece of clothing as like just another thing, you know? Where for me, it's just so much more personal, and I think it always was that. Although I'm not gonna lie, like I got caught up in the whole like trend thing working in fashion industry. Of course I did. But I think it was like so brief. Like I've noticed myself only a couple of times being like, am I buying this bag because I really like it? Or am I buying this bag because, you know, but I'm the same as you. I'm like, if I saw someone wearing this handbag, or if like there was this moment where like Bottega changed creative director, and like everyone had a Bottega bag, you know, and like Bottega went from this old fashion house into like this new kind of thing where it was an it brand, and everyone had a Bottega bag, and I was like, I definitely don't want anything from Bottega.
Yeah, because we had this conversation where like we're very like, if we see something over and over again, we don't want it.
Yeah, so it's like, but it also fascinates me how so many people, like for so many people, it's the other way around.
The other way around.
So it's,
although Uggs for me, I was like, that's the ugliest shoe ever. I'm never gonna wear it. And then I was like seeing it everywhere, and I was like, actually, everyone's saying it's comfortable. But I love it now. Like it's part of my style. I feel like.
Yeah, but you didn't buy it because everyone else is wearing it. You bought it because you're like, I want a comfortable pair of shoes.
Oh yeah, but I was thinking about it for weeks.
Like
I didn't just.
Alice was having like an angel and a devil. It's like, no, you shouldn't get it. It's Uggs. And then the other one was like, no, you should get it. It's super comfortable. Everyone's wearing it.
Yes. But like with that, that's what I'm trying to like get at, is that everyone should ask those questions and like really evaluate why you're buying something. Totally. Is it just a trend, or is it your personal style? So my next question would be, what influences your personal style, do you think?
Ooh, that's quite a deep one. I think like from everything that I am absorbing, from music to art to you know, poetry to people on the streets. Like I love people watch, and we live in Notting Hill, when it's like the place.
Yesterday I saw so many cool people in Portobello. I was just what's going on? Like, I love this, I love that.
But it's also one of my biggest inspirations, and it came to me right now, is nature.
Yes,
I love earthy colors, but apart from that, like seeing textures and colors together, you know, like literally, like if you're not inspired, just look outside, you know. One
of the biggest things you've taught me in life.
What is it? I'd love to know.
So I used to always wear black. Like black was my main color, and then I was like, okay, I wanna explore color. And I remember asking you, like, how do you know how to, like, you wake up and how do you know how to style together, like, different colors? And you said, well, look at nature and, like, look at how flowers are growing and, like, there's this color and that color, or how this is against the sky. And I go with that. And actually, all colors go together.
Oh my god, I love that!
Like, there's no secret answer. There's just, like, go with the flow.
There isn't. And also, like, thinking, like, look how much inspiration is around you.
Yes.
You know, like literally wherever you live, it's a countryside, if it's a city, like just open your eyes. And I think this is the other thing, like I see people like we're on our phones, like no one is just like stopping to look and like absorb that.
That's very true. Very
so
true.
It's like, if you are inspired when it comes to what you're like, just literally just look around, look around you, and even like unconsciously your brain is going to absorb that, and next time when you go to your wardrobe you're going to be like, oh, I can put this and this together.
Yeah, maybe that's also like if someone's struggling with that, maybe going to a different part of the city, and all of a sudden like you're in a new environment, different, like even if you like, we live in Notting Hill area, so if we go to Shoreditch, people tend to dress a little differently.
Totally, it's almost like you're in a different city.
But you get so inspired, and you're like, oh, let's go into this vintage market, I'm sure I'm gonna find something or whatever.
But this is the other thing, like going to vintage shops, like, because let's be honest, like a lot of creative people and people that have amazing styles will thrift.
Yes,
for sure. So going to places like this, like even if you don't want to buy anything, just wander around. Like look at the mannequins, like look what's put together. Like that's all part of like experimenting and discovering your personal style.
What do you think of taking inspiration and like copying celebrities, because that's like a massive trend?
Oh my god, we had this conversation really quickly before we started recording.
So I wanted to touch on it because
I've started watching this video. I totally forgot the name of the guy on YouTube, but anyways, he walks around New York and he asks people sort of about their style, and the video is really interesting. Like I love when people talk about their personal style and like what's almost hiding behind what they're wearing. But anyways, the end of the videos, he asks everyone, what is your style inspiration? And I kid you not.
Who was it?
Most of the young people say Bella Hadid.
Damn.
I mean, like my jaw dropped when I heard it first time, and then I heard it over and over again. I was like, what?
It's surprising and it's not. It's surprising to hear it, but when you actually see the style that's like dominating everything, you're like, yeah, I kind of see it. Like I've seen TikToks as well of girls going like, oh my god, I saw Bella Hadid do this, so guess what, I did it as well.
No way. What is it, like, what do you think about her style is so appealing? Because obviously like there is a 10 years difference between us, so I feel like you're looking at it, from a very different perspective.
I don't have any.
I was like, well, I can't answer that one.
I'm sorry, Bella. I'm so sorry. I guess it comes together with the whole like influence that she has as a person, and also like Bella, like everyone wants to be as successful.
Okay, in that sense. I guess, the reason why I'm like I can't quite understand it, because, I mean, apart from like people like, I don't know, when I'm thinking about people that inspire me that I don't know, most people that inspire me are people that I know. Because for me, that style, it's also like who they are as a person. Like those two things together have to merge for me to be like, oh my god, I really love your style. So like when I think of people like Frida Kahlo and the way that she was thinking and the whole brain behind her look, like that's for me, I'm like, okay, where, I mean, I'm not following Bella Hadid, so I don't know. Like I'm sure she's an amazing girl. But like it's just hard for me to believe that it's just based on like someone's pieces of clothing. And I guess we live in the era that is the case, right? Like we're seeing like little squares of Instagram, and then we're like, oh, like this is what really inspires me. So I can't relate to it. I really struggle.
I struggle too. Well, lately, like the last couple of years, I feel like COVID kind of like set me into like this whole discovery of who I am, like on a deeper level.
I was listening to this thing the other day, and it really stuck with me. Like we are all born with a different fingerprint. Like everything in us, with this like bag of atoms with like energy inside of us, we are totally different.
Yes.
So why are we trying to copy each other?
To fit in? I'll tell you what I just thought.
Go on.
Conversations I've had. So obviously, as a photographer, I meet so many different people on a daily basis. And I have to make like this small talk, just talking about stuff. And I find that it's easier to create small talk if you're interested in the same things, if you're wearing the same things. Like you'll be like, oh, where's this top from? Oh, I want it as well, like that kind of thing. Whereas like when I think of you as well as a person, it's not so easy to like start that kind of conversation.
Because Alice knows that I hate small talk.
we both do. We both.
He's like, if I start small talk, she's gonna leave.
I've done well so far.
Yeah, no, she's done amazingly well. But it's funny, like all my close friends know that I hate small talk, so they don't even like go there.
Right.
And when they observe me with other people, when they start small talk and I just like totally refuse to engage, they're like, yeah, okay.
Ouch.
Sorry, go back to the story.
But yeah, it's like it's not a conversation starter. You can't relate to someone else, and I feel like maybe that's a reason enough for people subconsciously, not like you know, consciously thinking about it, but it's easier to fit in because then you know you can go shopping together or that kind of thing.
But I think it's a valid point because I feel like it's also, I think, to have a deeper conversation, you have to be quite vulnerable.
Yes.
And I think like people struggle with vulnerability, but I think like without that vulnerability, you can't really build a real connection with anyone.
Yeah. It's like being seen. Like, ooh.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, is this person gonna like this part of me that I don't really like about myself?
Yes.
So, and I think it's very similar with style. I think it's like, you know, when people are like, oh, I'm just gonna wear this to like fit in a box, so I don't have to stand out, like I still fit in, like, you know, people think I'm cool, but you know, they don't have to ask too many questions.
Right, exactly. No one's gonna think, oh, you're weird.
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna approach you.
Oh my god, it's one of my favorite words. Like when people call me weird, I'm like, thank you. We are all different. Like, let's fucking, can we swear on this podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Let's fucking celebrate it, you
Yeah.
know? Instead of like trying to fit in this world of like, you know, everyone kind of like, you're being put in a box since you were like a little kid. So let's try to like crawl out of it, you know, and celebrate like who you really are.
I have a follow-up question to that. Do you think creating your personal style has anything to do with like confidence? Because I think it is. Because like you said, the vulnerability, the being exposed, everything. Like if you're super shy, that's too much. Like I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have to think deep about these things. Like you have to work on yourself to discover yourself and discover your style.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna happen like that.
Oh, it's not gonna happen overnight. But also when you flip that, it makes me think of like people I know that are not very confident. They have very kind of like out their styles, but that style is almost like their armor that they wear. So it's like, I'm gonna be this weird person that no one really wants to come up to because they think I'm too weird. So like, leave me alone.
But I think that's more rare.
The armor, it's rare, but like it still happens. But I totally like can relate to even what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've met a lot of people, even doing personal shopping for years. Like I've met a lot of people that are like, yeah, you know, I wanna like fit in this. And if you think about it, like I used to work a corporate job. You know, I was a PA and working in the office for years.
Can't imagine that, by the way.
I know. I mean, it feels like another life. And I was working in finance, and it was such a strict dress code.
Yes.
So just thinking about that, like I remember, like I felt suffocated, and I got told off so many times. It's like, your split in your skirt is too, like, you know, revealing, or like your skirt is too short, or like I've been told once, like the color of the shirt you're wearing is too bright. I was like, excuse me. So like you have to be in this box, and I guess some people are so comfortable in it, and if you do work in the office and it's something that you wear every single day, you're like, oh, it's just something I wear every single day, like I'm not even gonna think about it.
Yeah.
You know? So you're not even like engaging on this journey of like, why don't I explore like how clothes make me feel?
Yes.
You know, because I feel like there is like, you know, I can wear certain things and I'm like, you know, I feel so powerful and I can like, you know, walk like a catwalk on the street, and there is, but it's also like the energy that clothes are carrying, you know, like what you're putting in there. There are certain things you can put on, and like I've noticed that with my clients in the past, they're like, oh, you know, like I feel amazing in this color, or like this color brings out my eyes, or like this dress makes me feel a certain way, like it gets you appreciate your body when it's like hugging in certain areas that you wanna, you know, like there is so much power in that.
Oh yes. You need to try different things with your style to get to that point and understand it. So talking about people who work in like jobs where they don't need to worry about style.
Yeah. I mean, I still think everyone should not worry about style, but like pay attention.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's my question. I feel like, do you think there is a category of people who, you know, they're not interested in fashion, they don't care about it, they're like listening to us talk about this, they're like, oh, this is nonsense, like I'm just gonna wear my tracksuit.
Like a superficial kind of like, those two are so superficial.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh, there's big problems in the world.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like not many people know that, but I went through a period of my life where you know, I was doing fashion styling and personal shopping and all of that, and then I got to the point when I'm like, there's certain things happen in my life, and I was like, this is all so fucking superficial, I'm done with this, you know. And it was like,
it can get to that point.
It can get to that point, and I think because I was changing a lot as a person and, you know, growing, and it's just, I couldn't relate to that world anymore. But then I was like, I sat with myself, I was like, well, I still have to wear clothes every day, you know? So I think like when people say, oh, fashion is so superficial, yeah, fashion industry, yes, it is. I agree. But like style is so much more than that.
Agreed.
So, what was your question again?
Do you think that there's certain people
who totally think this is like bullshit and fashion industry is like...
Yeah, that they're not part of it. They're not part of it.
Unless you're a nudist 24/7, you are part of fashion industry. I'm sorry to break this to you, but you are.
I guess this kind of brings us to the to the conversation of London Fashion Week and Fashion Week in general.
Yes.
And how trends are being set, and like, you know, it's happening right now, and then, you know, in a couple of months you're going to be reading about it. You're going to go into stores, like everything is going to be there for you, and you know, you buy the trends basically that being set. And then people think, oh, you know, I don't care about fashion, like it's got nothing to do with me, I'm just gonna go into store and buy whatever, and actually you're buying things that
even unaware, right?
You're unaware that it's like,
it's the trends that someone like set up for you. Not only the trends, there's like Pantone that came out with this color that is the color of the year, so everyone is going to be wearing it, and if you're trying to find any other color in the store, you really have to look hard. Because it won't be there,
but somehow it's gonna become their favorite color because it's just in your face all the time.
So I think it's important to pay attention. What's your point of view when it comes to fashion weeks? Like how do you, because obviously like fashion weeks are now trying to sort of be more inclusive, and, you know, designers are kind of like paying a bit more attention to different body sizes. Like how do you feel like that is changing fashion industry in any way, or do you feel like it's not, it's just done because it's meant to be done? And
I think there's two part answer to that. One is, I love seeing like more curvaceous, bigger models on the runway. And what I love is then to follow them actually in their real life and see like what they're doing, what they're wearing. And that's really inspiring, because I feel like those women or men have stepped into like the more confident selves, like what we were talking about. And I often like look at those girls and I take inspiration from them, or like not even like if it's fashion inspiration, but like confidence, or like I learn something from those people. So I think it's wonderful that I have access to like knowing, not knowing, but like, you know, getting familiar with those people. But from an industry point of view, I think it's miles away from where it should be. I've been a part of conversations as like a photographer, like maybe having like a briefing or something, and I kind of have to like, I don't know, I feel like in that moment I'm not there.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost like they're kind of talking about people that are my size in a way that's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like
do you feel like it affects you in a way that you just almost like, I don't really want to be here right now, so I'm gonna disconnect? Yes.
I disconnect. I'm like, okay, I'm not, like, I didn't just hear that, because it's not like you can get angry about it and like storm off, like you're on a job.
So you think it's more because like I see it even like when I was working in fashion industry, like I saw it was so on the surface. Like it wasn't something that was really talked about and kind of like, you know, implemented, because like genuinely people wanted to change how people looked at fashion, because we like normalized skinny bodies, you know, and in the end of the day, like if you sit in a coffee shop and watch people walking past you, like we are so many different sizes. You know? So why are we normalizing like this super skinny, anorexic looking woman? Like that's crazy to me to begin with. And
forever a question.
Yeah, literally. And I feel that's kind of sad. And also like thinking that the clothes look the best when they're on the hanger, you know? So that's why like the women that are super skinny, like the clothes look amazing, or amazing in quotes, because like if that's what you want, just put it on the hanger, not on a human being. I feel like it's gonna take a while for people of all sizes to be represented in fashion weeks for the right reasons. As consumers, we have to speak up about it, you know? So it's like, I think instead of mindlessly buying things from certain brands, be like, you know what? Like even write to a brand and be like, you know what? Like I'm not happy with the sizing that you have. And I would like it to be more inclusive. So I would like, you know, this and this. Like I feel like we're not even communicating.
Do you know, I just remember that I used to do this thing if I ordered something. And you know, like there's like a return slip.
I actually write like that.
Yes, I would be like,
that.
It's too small or too this. Like I'm tall as well as curvy, so like oftentimes like the sleeve is gonna be like, you know, just past my elbow. And I would write like the sleeves are too short. Surely they're not gonna read it, but I was like, I just had so much like, I just need to put it out.
But it's annoying because it's just like, but it also makes you think how like this mass consumption happens. So when this brand is producing a piece of clothing, it doesn't think of you as a person.
No.
It thinks about this huge amount of people that are going to purchase it, you know? So it's just like, so we ourselves have to be so much more aware of how we're consuming for anything to change. And I think it's the same with fashion weeks. Like people should be so much more aware, like what is it that you're going to absorb into your life?
That's such a wonderful conclusion to today's conversation. Be more mindful.
Be more mindful with your purchases.
Yeah.
Like, stop consuming. Just step back, have a look, re-examine what's for you, what's not for you.
You don't need it all. You don't need the trends.
No, you don't. No. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
And just make the most of it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna stop right here now.
We're gonna wrap up.
We'll see you next week for another fun, deep conversation.
Yeah, excited about that. See you next week.